you are wondering why you are so sad all the time. You can't think of anything that would be making you feel this way. You're terrible in social interactions and even with people you know. But what you don't know is that there is 7 silent killers that will destroy your happiness. See, happiness is possible when you confront these 7 silent killers that I will be sharing with you today. This is top-notch stuff that most people don't teach anywhere. I promise you, with 100% guarantee, the last point, if you follow it correctly, will get you back on track to happiness. Listen, I was in your shoes. I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't happy with my life, with my family, with friends. I didn't have any friends because I didn't know how to make them, because I just wasn't happy myself. But when I confronted them, I started to change forever. I walk into a restaurant now with a smile on my face. I show gratitude to people that I don't even know. And those are not necessarily the things that I'm going to be talking about, but those are the things that happen when you confront these 7 silent killers. See, I started to not just be happy and joyful, but I started to actually live life again. Let's open the project. This first point you probably already have heard of, but you never taken into full account. Macedon has done all the work, okay? He's figured it out. You probably have not though. Not saying you're dumb. You're probably smart and you probably have common sense, but you haven't taken into account all the psychological damage it does. What am I talking about? Scrolling. Endlessly scrolling. Doom scrolling. Whatever you want to call it. You're searching for joy in an infinite void. In your endless scrolling, you're searching for joy in an endless feed designed to make you numb, addicted, and troubled. That's their trick. That's what these corporations do. Furthermore, the more that you watch, the more ads you watch, whether that's on YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, the more ads you watch, the more money they make. But you get no reward. You may get a little dopamine hit, but after that you become numb. You get nothing in return. Your ROI is downhill. It's going down very fast. The more you scroll, the less you feel. The Bible tells us in Psalms 90 through 12, it says, teach us to number our days. You can't number your days when you are scrolling in an endless void. Listen, if you're already past this point, it means that you have something inside of you that most people don't. Ambition. And that ambition means that you gotta watch the rest of this video to the end, not skipping in between because it's getting boring. Watch the full thing because it's important, and this is your life, your happiness, your purpose. The second silent killer in your life is something that you have never heard. No one's talked about this. I'm dead serious. No one's talked about this. This isn't a YouTube trick, me trying to tell you, oh, no one's talked about this. No, seriously, no one's talked about this. No one's thought of this way. Information overload. We all have questions and we all research those questions. You have questions and you research those questions. And you automatically think, oh, I gotta go research that. I don't know that. Don't do that. We shouldn't be doing that. Googling everything demolishes bliss. I don't promote ignorance. I actually promote thinking deeply and researching. And most of the time, researching is actually a good thing. But
oh my goodness, I don't know this. I need to go research it now. Quick, easy, done.
Is worse than going out into your yard and thinking about it from what you already know. Researching and Googling compared to brain knowledge and thinking on your own is worse because you can do it yourself. You can figure it out. Trust me. I've thought so deeply in the last couple of months, and I found that it's helped me way more than I could ever imagine. I'm glad my parents structured school for me, and you probably have went to public school or you may have been homeschooled yourself. But when we self-educate from what we want to know and what we want to learn, we start to grow even faster. Studying basic knowledge like letters and math are crucial, sure, but when you start to self-educate yourself, stuff starts to actually change. Look at this. Right now, I'm reading from this Confident Witness book by David S. Doddridge. These books that I've been reading in the last couple of months, I have learned more thought more and thought even deeper than I have in years. You hear that right? Years. Here's an interesting fact about this subject. When we just research immediately, it gets us actually nowhere. Why? Because when we don't sit with our own thoughts and we just immediately Google, we lose ponder, we lose wonder, we lose the mystery and the striving to figure out something. We just automatically click and it's there. Click and it's there. The constant need to know everything kills awe and pondering and wonder and striving. It kills all those good habits and good feelings. It kills our curiosity and even our peace. Especially with a constantly changing, diverse, indecisive, culturally motivated world. In this kind of world, there is no correct answer. Every time you go into Google, you will get a different answer. Trust me on that. There's some people who say jerking off is good, but there's some people who say that is completely bad. I'm one. Why? Because the evidence proves it. But then you go look at their evidence, but it doesn't prove it. But you can go read their articles and it sounds actually right. The point is, culturally motivated and bias motivated things are out there. And when you research, you have no clue if anything's right or wrong or real. AI could now be looking real at this point. Ecclesiastes 1:18, it says, with much knowledge comes much sorrow. The Bible promotes wisdom, faith, and discernment. All things that happen inside the mind and thinking deeply, yes. But it also realizes that if you knew everything God knew, or knows, and will always know, if you knew all that, then you would have a lot of sorrow. You would know that this person killed this person and that person had premarital sex with that person. All sins. You would have great sorrow. And that's why his heart breaks sometimes. And that's why I pray. Not just to bring me sorrow, but to understand why God's heart breaks. I ask him, break my heart for what breaks yours. And listen, you don't need to know the exact calories of a grape at 2 a.m. You need to be asleep. If you're starting to get bored, I want you to remember and continue to focus on that this is your life we're talking about. This is your life that's on the line. Your family, your friends, your partner, yourself, your happiness and purpose. Don't skip ahead and don't click off. This isn't me trying to keep my retention high, although it will help me, sure, and help my business, sure. But this is me telling you that I personally want you to get your happiness back and get your purpose back. Now let's go back to the cultural talk. Debating culture. Trying to find peace in a war zone. Listen, arguing online, defending personal opinions based on cognitive bias, basically what you've learned back in your past experiences, you're now defending online when there may be a better way, and fighting complete strangers. It drains your joy and it drains your cup. Have you ever heard the saying of fill my cup and let it overflow? There's a difference between it overflowing and cracking at the bottom. Draining at the bottom will hurt you on the inside, but when it overflows, you are still full. But that overflow is not guilt and sadness. It's joy, gratitude, and peace spreading to everyone around you. Just because you are happy. You weren't made to hold everyone's drama on your shoulders or gossip on your shoulders. No, you were made to have peace and be ignorant to all the trends, the drama, and the gossip of today. Even the Bible talks about this. In Titus 3:9 it says, avoid foolish controversies. They are unprofitable and they are useless, it says. I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this. You're not gonna change anyone's mind in a comment section. You are a warrior. Keyboard warrior. Here's a simple silent killer that you've probably heard of, but you didn't take into a full account like someone I know, Magathon. Of course he knows. I mean, the man almost knows like every bad thing. He's prepared for anything. The fourth silent killer is simple bad habits. The slow decay. Waking up late, going to bed late, skipping prayer and skipping responsibilities all drain you of joy. These tiny micro habits that are actually bad habits will silently kill you and erode your joy and quietly erode your joy. Listen, there's a difference between good habits and bad habits. For some reason, we know when we do good habits, but we don't know when we do bad ones. Why? Because the enemy intentionally makes bad habits seem like average things. And then average things become boring because these bad habits don't feel like anything necessarily bad. The neutral habits become boring, and the neutral responsibilities become boring. And then the good habits, for some reason, feel even more boring because you have to do something. These bad habits, literally always, you do basically nothing, or you do something and it's just plainly not good for you. So I want you to focus on the good habits rather than the bad habits. Do a self-examination. Now, I didn't even have this in my notes. Do a self-examination in your morning routine. Do a self-examination and think about the things that you do that are bad habits and then switch them with the good habit. Proverbs 6:10, it says, "A little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will come." Wow. You have a little sleep and a little... Listen, I don't fully agree with the saying of early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I don't fully agree with that. But if we look at this a little closer, let's zoom in. A little sleep, a little slumber. And guess what comes? Poverty. To me, that saying of healthy, wealthy, and wise almost aligns with that. Now, is that our mission to become wealthy? No, not necessarily. But obviously states when you get not enough sleep, poverty comes into your life. Being broke. Po. Because you couldn't even afford the O or the R. Listen, man, I know you personally, okay? I just know you. I do. Your sleep schedule looks like an actual crime scene from one of those rated R movies. You know the ones. I want to remind you that the last point can change your life from being bed-rotting Brock to fulfilled man Fred.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That was kind of cheesy, I know. Let's move on. The fifth silent killer in your life that is probably rotting you away right now is lust. You're not dumb. You know it hurts your mind, your heart, and even your soul. Lust promises pleasure but doesn't get any. Lust promises pleasure and it may even feel good in the moment, but after you have no joy, all you're left with is shame. It destroys confidence and spiritual clarity. It rewires your brain for shortcuts rather than long-term intimacy with Jesus in purpose. In Matthew 5:28, Jesus warns us about lust. He warns us that lust corrupts the heart. Listen, if your screen time had a face, it would be doing this. Seriously, bro. Listen, if you made it this far, at the fifth point, that means that you're different. Again, you have ambition, and it means that you actually care about what I'm talking about here. Here's the sixth point that silently kills you. Junk food and dopamine eating. Comfort that makes you actually miserable. You eat because you're bored. That's why you're big, bro. That's why you're huge. Don't start complaining, "Oh, I don't eat that much." Obviously something happened. Either it's genetics or you actually eat a lot and you have a complex with eating. Here's the challenge for this. I'm barely even going to talk about it. I'm just going to give you the challenge. Number 1, eat food that's good for you. Simple. Number 2, eat 3 times a day. And number 3, do not eat with a screen. The last point feels harder than the first two. Why? Because we're addicted to the screens. When you don't do these steps, food becomes a crutch and it becomes a burden. It becomes a coping mechanism with hurt, rather than a tool to have fuel. You feel sluggish, guilty, and spiritually dull, all from chasing quick comfort that gets put in your mouth. Proverbs 25:28, it says, "A man without self-control is like a city broken into." Listen, man, that one more snack at 1 in the morning is starting to feel more like a personality trait than actually feeling hungry. The seventh silent killer, and this is the most important out of all of these. All the other ones backed this one up specifically. Number 7, living without stillness. Never being alone with God. When was the last time you looked at the wall and just listened to God? When was the last time you fell on your face for God? When was the last time you had a conversation, a real conversation, not just because someone said in the church, "Oh, pray. It's time for prayer. Listen to the pastor." When was the last time you didn't repeat after me? When was the last time? When was the last time you took a time out of your day to go sit alone with God and talk to Him personally? Probably a long time, because we have constant noise, music and podcasts, videos and notifications. Because we have all those things, it leaves no room for God's voice. It either overwhelms God's voice, it overbears and overrules God's voice, or because there's so much stuff, God doesn't have a moment to get in there and say something to you. And if He does, you still don't listen, because you have other things to do that day. You have errands. I can't go to church on Sunday, I got work. I gotta make enough for the family. I can't go to church on Wednesday, I gotta make enough for the family. Whatever your excuse may be, stop and figure it out. Make your schedule around God. Silence feels uncomfortable because it forces you to face yourself, all your bad habits and all your fears. It makes you face all the trauma and the hurt, the burdens and the conflicts you've had in your life. It makes you process them with God. Sitting at your wall for just 30 minutes will make you cry more than any movie. Any movie. Elijah heard God, not in the wind or the fire, but in the still, small voice. The whisper in 1 Kings 19. If silence makes you panic more than constant noise, you need to start working on it. You need to stay still. Listen, if you're in prayer time one day and you feel like God's not talking to you, He's not mad at you and He's not trying to make you aggravated. He's just using the silence as dramatic effect. Listen, all of those points you need to implement into your life. And if you want more things to implement into your life, like and subscribe so I can continue this work, this mission I have to get people onto the Macadam protocol, the Macadam project. This is something I'm very passionate about. This is I feel like this is gonna be my family business one day. I don't know why. I can feel it in my soul. If you're already on self-improvement or you're already on kingdom-centered man, then unsubscribe, because you don't need to be watching me anymore. You just need to implement what you already know and get yourself to the right path without any YouTube videos. I'm strong enough to say that. The final closing verse I have to give you is Psalms 46:10. Be still and know I am God. You know, I feel like the hoodlum / Gen Z version for that would be, yo, chill, my broski, and know that I'm your G. Ah, that's hilarious. Oh my god. You live life once. What are you gonna do about it?